Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome to some GregTech. I have decided to try my hand at this. I've been, a, not a big fan, but a fan nonetheless of watching people play GregTech out there and watch them work their way through the various packs that this is out there. And I was uh, constantly on the, not constantly, but recently on more of a lookout for something to dip my toes into it, just to have a go at it, similar to what I did with Terra Firmacraft there a couple of years ago, back when Redditus 2 came out. It's not really been anything. I haven't had any real desire to play on the old versions of Minecraft to play GregTech, but now that they've got this updated and playable in 120, I decided we may as well jump on in. And we'll just quickly take a look at the pack that I am playing. It's a beginner focused pack. It's the GregTech Community Pack Modern on the CurseForge app there. So basically, the overview here, completely sold it for me. Play this mod pack if you're new to GregTech and want to play on a modern version. You want a detailed guide to walk through all the mechanics in detail. A lightweight mod pack. There's little reason, well, there's not little reason, but there's a better incentive to stick to GregTech itself if you don't have a whole bunch of other mods in the pack that kind of do the same thing, but maybe better or easier because it's more familiar, right? So just, there's less mods in there and also less confusion, right? And confusing what's GregTech and what's not and all that stuff. So just one note that this is the community edition updated of GregTech. So this is an unofficial fork of GregTech. So it is constantly being updated and monitored. So that's one real positive thing. So, but it is going to be in some instances slightly different than the original GregTech. The main purpose of this series will be just for me to document my travels, my learning experience in GregTech. So it won't be for, if you want to learn GregTech, watch my videos. No, probably not. Play this pack, read the quest book, which is F4. They've got a default setting there. Actually, let me change my GUI scale because I'll just show why I've got my GUI scale down. Is because when you get the crafting station and you get this over here, you can't see your pinned recipes over there at the normal GUI scale. So, but let's just fix that up. So that we can take a look. So this is the introduction chapter, which I've just completed and dipped my toes into the Steam age. Just note that there's lots of handy quest rewards in here. So, notably the first real quest, you get this ore prospector. This is going to be the main takeaway from this whole first chapter, is learning how to use this guy, because the GregTech ore generation is completely different than vanilla. And then, things like, just this one gathering up a little bit of resources. We got like 32 iron out of that, so that gets us a start in there, so on and so forth. And just, reading all the little, tips and quests in there, if you're looking to play GregTech yourself and you don't want to be like on this newbie beginner pack, they do have one quest line in here which they recommend some other packs. So Cosmic Frontiers, Gravitas 2. I did play a little bit of Gravitas 2. This is a mix of Terra Firma Craft and GregTech along with a bunch of other mods. That was a little bit too much for me, so I didn't play that for very long, and also my absolute hatred of Terra Firma Craft getting into the clay or the fire clay and finding kaolinite. I just can't do it again, so I'm not going to be trying that. Star Technology, another pack that they recommend there. So a couple of little leads for you all if you are looking to get into this at all. So, you know, other than the fact that we can't make charcoal in furnaces regularly, that's which we need to rush to the coke oven. So they do start you off with like 32 coal just for gathering 48 logs. But other than that, you're going to be looking for coal one way or the other, right? You can use the ore prospector to try and do it, but that can be really hit or miss. You can be traveling, you know, quite a ways before you find a decent coal vein. But I settled down here because, well, I spawned here, and I just started coming down this way, and then I saw this plains area in my thing. So I just wanted to make sure I had a nice flat-ish area that I didn't have to chop too many trees to get started into. So not a whole lot of exploration done, but we found a place where we can set up a decent starter lawn base, so to speak. So let's use this ore prospector, and I'll try to pass on what I have learned from it. It's not a lot, so don't get your hopes up too much, but clicking on this, you get a 5 chunk by 5 chunk scan of the area. And basically this will show you what ore veins are in these chunks. And it's not too bad either, because it'll tell you exactly where the ores are in the particular chunks, right? So if we look, this chunk will have kyanite, mica, fuller's earth, basaltic mineral sand, bauxite, polluckite, gypsum, granitic mineral sand. And then this chunk up here will have things like vanadium magnetite, copper, gold, iron, magnetite, pyrite, and chalcopyrite. And we'll briefly go over those, but that's all covered in there. And then you can also narrow it down for yourself. So it's like, oh, I'm looking for iron. Where can I find the iron in this? Well, the iron's up here. You know, there's 36 pieces of iron in this whole chunk. So it's probably not too fortuitous for you to go digging around in the chunk looking for those 36. So you want to go looking for something with a little bit more, you know, oomph to it. So, you know, there's 334 magnetite in this chunk, for example. So it's probably a lot better for you to go mining for iron here, because magnetite is a type of iron. So then, you know, so this is a big veins of these things, and they're not, they do generate kind of all together. Let's go back, because we are down here already. So when I dug down here, I ended up finding this cave, which is a boon and a curse as well, because it basically, where it generated, it deleted quite a bit of the potential vein that might have been here. But on the other hand, we've got a bunch on the surface that we can find quite easily, right? So just like, you know, find your magnetite here. And your magnetite is, look at the uses, it smelts down straight into iron. That's all explained in the guidebook as well. So down here under the ore generation tab, you can see, so if you're looking for where's the iron? So yeah, if you're looking, I guess you can't look backwards that way, but magnetite gives you what kinds of ores will be found in the veins, because you'll get a whole mixed bag of things in the veins. Like, it's not completely mixed, but it is a mixture, right? And you can see that over here. This is a good, really good look at what we've got in here. So this has got the mica and the bauxite and the kyanite. So if we go back here and we look at the mica vein, so you'll get aluminum, fluorine, and titanium in here. So you'll get this kyanite, the mica, the bauxite, and the pollockite. All these will appear in the veins, kind of mixed around and thing, but they're all fairly concentrated, you know, like down there to up there approximately is where the vein stops. So, and I don't know exactly how big it is, but if we take a look on here and we look at the kyanite vein, you know, it's kind of all in a big circle in and around here. And it's kyanite, bauxite, and the pollockite's all kind of mixed in together, but you won't necessarily find it in the same Y level as maybe some of the other veins of things. So you can get multiple veins in the same chunk, but they might be at different Y levels. So it's basically use your... Let's not do that. Let's just go home. Come this way. So to get into the steam age, I needed to make bronze. So I needed copper and tin. I did find copper down at the bottom of that thing over there. So I came this way looking for tin. So we did eventually find that under the cassiterite. So that was just up here where I've got tin marked. And this is a much better representation, right? So I was coming along here and we saw that there was, I think it was this chunk. It had a lot more in it, obviously, before when I first started. But getting used to F3 and G for your chunk borders is a good thing as well, because this, you know, will show me, oh, if I go one chunk this way, I'm going to find 150 cassiterite in this chunk here, right? So we just go one forward, and also I saw it was kind of concentrated along this chunk border here on these two sides, so I decided to kind of start here and go down. So this vein ended up being really, really shallow. So all this cassiterite is in the, and the tin is all in this area here. And you can kind of see what it looks like there. GregTech does have these mining hammers, which aren't too horrible to get into at the start. Does take these all these tools to make, as with all GregTech things, and then a bunch of plates. And when we make one of these, then we can just fix it or repair it in an anvil, right? But you can see how concentrated all of the ores are here, right? A little bit more concentrated than that other vein that we found for those other random materials. So one thing with the coke oven, when we're making charcoal and whatnot, we get obviously creosote as the byproduct. Creosote is an amazing thing to be using to smelt your ores with, because we kind of want to save our coal. We don't want to be using coal necessarily to smelt items, because it's used in a lot of other things. So we do want to save it. And let's see, does this have... Yes, and we can use charcoal as well as coal to upgrade to steel, right? So once we get our blast furnace running, I'm saving all my charcoal and basically just burning my creosote as a fuel instead of that. 1 bucket of creosote does smelt 32 items at a time. So it's, as I mentioned before, it's really, really good in that that regard. Hey, we got a bunch of copper. Let's do a bunch more copper so that we've got more. We can make some more bronze so that we can keep on making bronze items for the steam age. The other super handy thing that you do want to make sure that you're getting early game is the GregTech version of the iron axe. Or, well, any GregTech axe, right? It does take a little bit extra fandangling to get. Once you have the tools in place, but it does cost a couple of extra iron to make. But it acts as a vein miner, so it's super satisfying to use. And just have the biggest grin on my face from being able to harvest all of that wood just that quickly and easily, right? And there was one lone tree sitting there that's kind of holding up the rest of that. But now we've got tons of wood, and we can go back and get our coal or our coke oven restarted again and making more and more charcoal for us, because we always want to keep that thing running, not only for the charcoal it provides, but also, you know, that we have the creosote for the early game smelting. And then the other thing, make sure that we've got lots of rubber going, but I can skip out on that for now, but come over here. The only thing I don't like about the GregTech thing is we can't click on like any block there to open it up. We do have to click on the controller part to be able to open the GUI for the coke oven itself. So there. Put away a bunch of this stuff. So yeah, I've made my first couple of steam boilers here, so I'm ready to jump into the steam age. And yeah, I think that's it for this one. Was there anything else in this introductory thing? It introduces you to all of the basic concepts in here. So it's not like more is better, if you've heard that word. It's more is necessary is one of the big themes of GregTech. So in here it has us make like 16 iron bolts and 8 iron plates. You know, the idea of bulk crafting. So when you're making things, make lots, right? If you need a stack of iron to go do something, go mine out 8 stacks of iron and get them smelting up, right? That's why I've got 10 furnaces sitting here, is because it's never hurts to have the things constantly fired up and running, so that we have those resources later on when we need them, and we're not stuck, you know, going on wild goose hunts for things if we run out of them. So. Yeah, I think we'll close this one out here. Can't think of anything else that I wanted to talk about for this beginning age. Might be worth getting another coke oven up and running, but oh yes, I guess this one's, there's a nice little thing in when we're looking in JEI. So if we're looking at the uses for the coke oven, there is the multi-block info, which tells us when we have if you click on the uses for the controller of a multi-block, it will tell you everything that you need to make it. So this, we needed 25 coke oven bricks plus the 1 controller, so that's only 26, and this is a 3x3x3. And if we look around here, because all the sides are solid, then you can deduce that the middle one needs to be empty, right? The one in the very middle. But you can also look over here and you can go level by level. So level 0. So if we go back to all and we just highlight one of these bricks, it'll always be highlighted as you go through these levels as well. So you have got a frame of reference. So the bottom layer needs to be the solid 9, right? The second layer does have the one open in the middle, as we deduced earlier, but when we get bigger and more complex multi-blocks, then you can use these controls to kind of help you figure out how to actually build the multi-block. Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to touch on in this episode. I'm going to upgrade my items here quickly, but you get tons of iron, so just getting the anvil up pretty quickly, and then we can repair our tools as you need to, right? Let's just do 2 for now, that's fine. I've got a bunch of spruce over here going as well, so we'll have tons and tons of wood for cooking up moving forward. At any rate, that's it for this episode. I appreciate you all for checking it out and joining me in my journey into GregTech. Leave any tips and tricks you want to in the comments. I don't mind spoilers or anything like that because, well, watching other players play like Threefold and whatnot, I do know a fair amount about it already, but can never hurt to learn something new and quick as well. So, anyways, I appreciate you all, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!